Greetings, Indie Warriors! Welcome to I Dream of Indie. My name is Old Gamer Joe, bringing you a review today of arcade racing game Super Toy Cars Offroad on Steam. So were you a Micro Machines kid, or did you lean more into the Hot Wheels? What about Matchbox? Who remembers that one? Alright, so I personally was more into playing with my Ninja Turtles party wagon, but there is something fun and nostalgic about toy cars. In Super Toy Cars Offroad, you won't get anything officially licensed, but you do have 20 different types of vehicles to drive around 15 unique tracks. Super Toy Cars Offroad, never get tired of saying that, features both a single-player career mode and a quick race mode for up to 2 players via split screen. Within this quick race mode, you can choose between a decent variety of race types. You of course have a standard race where you're just trying to rank as well as possible. You have a clean race that does away with the power-ups in the game, and there's some other gimmicky choices such as death race where you want to avoid being destroyed, or even a time trial and time attack mode. The game actually does a pretty good job of mixing things up. In that single-player only campaign mode, you'll be battling through various cups which consist of a few different events. You can earn points within these cups depending on how well you perform. You're required though to at least get into 3rd place in order to unlock any of the rewards that are associated with that given cup. The twist here is that certain cups are going to require certain vehicles, so you can't just jump into any of these cups without first unlocking some of the other cars. You do have a garage in Super Toy Cars Offroad where you can select between buggies, bigger, bulkier trucks, SUVs, rally cars, and a bunch more. You'll spend the money you've unlocked in the career mode to not only get new vehicles, but to also pump upgrades into those vehicles. You can improve your engine, your drift, your boosting, and even more. You can also mess around with paint and customize the way your vehicle looks if you are into that kind of thing. In total, the game features a solid amount of unlockable content. I was impressed, actually. As for the racing itself, it's not perfect, but there is some good arcade fun to be had here at times. The R trigger is going to make you accelerate. You can toss weapon power-ups with A. You'll drift and power slide with B, which can give you a bit of a speed boost, as you might expect. And of course, you have a brake along with the ability to respawn back onto the main track if you do veer off course. The game also has 2 assist options. You can opt to have the gas held down for you the entire time, and there is a little bit of a steering assist as well for younger players. I didn't love the way every vehicle felt, but I have to say they are unique from one another, and I did like the simplicity of the game. It felt easy enough for anyone to play, though I must warn you that it comes with some jankiness. Occasionally I would hit invisible barriers, or a race would abruptly end in multiplayer. The course design in general is kind of bland here, and not as imaginative or playful feeling as you would hope in a game about toy vehicles. I can appreciate some of the obstacles thrown in your way on these tracks, but often I just found that certain ones had branching paths that were kind of confusing, even after I played them multiple times, and that led to hitting a lot of those invisible walls. Still, thanks to being able to respawn rather quickly, situations like these are not quite as frustrating as they otherwise would have been. Visually, you're going to find a similar situation where the game just seems to lack a bit of personality. The graphics are rather bland outside of the vehicles themselves, which look rather cool, but this certainly doesn't look like a game that was made in 2022 or even the last few years, really. There are some bland textures and washed out colors. They're pretty constant throughout the game, really, but at the same time, it doesn't look offensively bad either. It just kind of lacks charm and personality, which I can say is also true of the sound design. The first thing you should note is that the initial default sound mix for this game really isn't very good, and that revealed some of the mediocre engine sounds that were a bit canned, uninspired power-up noises, and again, just all kind of blah. Even though you get some interesting unlockable toy characters, some of which are clear callbacks to classic toys, they aren't all that charming either. They have no personality to them at all, and they just really exist as avatars. The soundtrack itself is not terrible, with a mix of different genres like pop or rock, and the game even allows you to turn off genres that you might not like. Just don't expect any licensed music here, obviously. The tracks are solid, but yeah, be sure to adjust that mix so you can actually hear them. At the end of the day, this is a title that has its shortcomings, but Super Toy Cars Offroad does offer some pretty solid arcade fun at times. There are a good amount of unlockables in the campaign mode, and there's enough race types to keep you busy for a bit if you have a second player. It's a shame that you can't tackle the campaign with a friend, and that the game is limited to only those 2 players. It also kind of stinks that you have no online play here outside of the Steam remote option, but I can also understand that to a degree, seeing as this clearly wasn't a big budget production. I did have some fun with this one in the same way I would would with any arcade-style racer. It's just a shame the game lacks a bit of charm and personality that could have helped it to stand out more. Hey Indie Warriors, are you tired of the gaming echo chamber and do you want to help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming? Check out the description box below so that you can learn how to become an Indie Warrior yourself and be read aloud just like these proud warriors: Bill C, Christian Cruz, Kevalo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coil, Skepticism, Haley, Julian Colbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS8, Raylin, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, Eric PSC, King of the Hatch, Carmine Red, and Larkison. Thank you so much for everything you've done for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, head on down to that description box below. There's a ton of ways that you can support this channel and help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.